What up? This is Ramashkin covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix series Vikings Valhalla Season 2. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell, so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Let's rock this! First up, I would like to say thank you to Netflix for granting me the screeners to this entire new season. It goes without saying that even though I will not be spilling spoilers here, this review is mainly for those of you, my fellow Vikings Valhalla fans, who already know what's up. Alrighty then, let's just get right to it. Vikings Valhalla Season 2 is bloody awesome. So basically, if you like the previous first season as much as I did, then you're gonna like Season 2 a hell of a lot more. In fact, I would boldly venture to say that I enjoyed this sequel slash spin-off way more than I did the original History Channel Viking series. I mean, Freydis' story arc alone in this new season blows my mind. Hers is the story of resilience, and Frida Gustafsson's performance as that character is fearless to the bone. Sadly, the Emmy Awards tend to overlook shows like this, but they shouldn't, because the writing quality just gets better and better, and the conflict and the drama and the action are all so riveting. And the circle of Christians versus pagans themes get larger this time around to include other spirituality, beliefs, and enlightenment, while simultaneously continuing to tackle the character's personal demons, insecurity, prejudice, and crisis of confidence. But if you have come just for the sword fights, the battles, and the brutal medieval combats, well, Season 2's got plenty of that as well, and they are now extra gruesome. Based on the previous Viking series created by Michael Hurst and executive produced and showrun by Jeb Stewart, set over 1,000 years ago in the early 11th century, Vikings Valhalla chronicles the heroic adventures of some of the most famous Vikings who ever lived. The legendary explorer Leif Erikson, his fiery and headstrong sister Freydis, Erik's daughter, and the ambitious Nordic prince Harald Sigurdsson. Season 2 finds our heroes shortly after the tragic fall of Kattegat, an event that has shattered their dreams and altered their destinies. Finding themselves suddenly fugitives in Scandinavia, they are forced to test their ambitions and courage in worlds beyond the fjords of Kattegat. Starring Sam Corlett, Leo Sutter, Frida Gustafsson, Laura Berlin, David Oakes, Johannes Haukur Johannesson, Bradley Freegard, and Hayat Kamil. So, Season 2 basically follows the formula that most sequels often use out there, and that is to separate the characters into separate journeys. Now, some audiences may not like this storytelling strategy because they'd rather see all the protagonists stay together, but I actually like this approach because it allows for the characters to show what they're capable of when they're on their own. And it allows the writers to make these guys face new challenges to see if they would rise to the occasion. So there are a total of 8 episodes in this Season 2, and each of them runs about 49 minutes long, give or take. Freydis finds herself being chosen as a new religious leader. Meanwhile, Leif and Harald go on a quest to Constantinople in search of wealth, power, and hopefully an army that can help Harald become the king of Norway. Long story short, Lee finds a new fling in a sickly but knowledgeable scholar, and all of them sail on an open ice on a boat sled, encountering perils and dangers along the way. As that commotion is happening, on the other side of the ocean, the manipulative Earl Godwin and the vindictive Queen Emma have their own separate storyline that involves ill-fated romance and deep-seated tragedy. I particularly enjoy this arc because by the end of it, it further establishes Earl Godwin's diabolical, cunning ways. He is both scary and admirable. I can't help but be impressed because sometimes I can't tell if he's sincere or if everybody's just an expendable pawn in his slow and steady eventual road to power. I think one of the big reasons why I like this show, particularly season 2, is that whereas the original Viking series was more about the interconflict amongst the Vikings, I mean, Vikings Valhalla does have some of that, but season 2 shows our protagonists interact with new characters that don't share the same set of principles and ideologies. Yes, at the heart of it is still the friction of pagan gods versus Christian god. But now you also have these other beliefs and what Valhalla means to them. Things like reincarnation and such. And suddenly the world opens up to Leif and Harald, who practically represent the progressive Vikings, if you will. The writers of season 2 seem adamant about defeating the old mentality of my God is right and your God is wrong, therefore I need to force you into believing in my God, which is a mentality that unfortunately still exists to this day. But don't worry, all those compelling ideas are packaged in a series of graphic violence that is still very much part of the DNA of this show. And trust me, they take it up a notch as far as the adventure goes. Thrilling, exciting, and unbelievable. And as they reinvent themselves, these three warriors embrace a newfound purpose that drives them towards a cause that's bigger than themselves. I find myself cheering for Leif, Harald, and Freydis every step of the way, even more so than I did before. It feels so good to have this show back, a follow-up that's worthy of its predecessor.